Welcome to another deep dive, where we pull back the curtain on the unseen forces and intricate systems that shape our everyday lives. Today we're tackling something almost everyone encounters, but let's be honest, few truly understand. The medical bill. You know, that patient statement that arrives in your mailbox or inbox, often leaving you feeling, well, more confused than informed. Okay, let's unpack this. The truly fascinating and sometimes profoundly frustrating world behind that patient statement. Specifically, we're diving deep into the process of releasing patient statements in medical billing. It's a journey that starts long before you even leave the doctor's office and culminates in that precise financial request. It's far more than just printing a piece of paper. It's really a meticulously choreographed communication designed to inform, instruct, and yes, collect.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating here is how this seemingly simple document, a mere billing statement, is actually a foundational linchpin in a far larger, incredibly complex system. We call it revenue cycle management, or RCM, within healthcare. Understanding this process isn't just about satisfying intellectual curiosity. It genuinely empowers you as a healthcare consumer. You can move from feeling overwhelmed by a bill you don't quite grasp to understanding the intricate, often unseen steps that led to its creation and why it appears in your hand. This knowledge transforms you, really, from a passive recipient into an informed participant in your own healthcare financial journey.
Absolutely. So for this deep dive, we're going to journey through the very core of patient statements, what they truly are, why they're sent, and, the precise moment they appear. We'll meticulously explore the intricate, step-by-step process of how these statements are not just generated, but rigorously reviewed and then delivered. We'll then pivot to uncover the best practices that separate efficient billing from frustrating confusion and confront the common pitfalls that can lead to errors, delays, or even, frankly, patient distrust. And finally, we'll look at what happens once that statement is out in the world, because surprisingly, the process doesn't just stop there. Our mission today is to provide you with those genuine aha moments, giving you a completely new perspective on something often perceived as just, well, a necessary evil. Okay, let's kick things off by defining our terms. When we talk about releasing patient statements, what exactly are we referring to? It sounds like a very formal, almost bureaucratic phrase, but what does it really entail for you, the patient, and for the healthcare provider?
Right. At its fundamental core, releasing patient statements is the methodical, highly structured process that medical practices, clinics, or large hospital systems use to generate, rigorously review, and then officially deliver billing statements directly to patients. The main objective, the primary goal, is clear: to collect any remaining financial balances that are owed by you, the patient, after your health insurance company has done its part, after they've completed processing the claim and have either paid their portion, maybe denied coverage, or determined your specific responsibility. This isn't just some, simple, isolated clerical task. It's universally recognized as a pivotal and essential function within the broader patient collections phase. And that itself is a critical component of the entire revenue cycle management, or RCM, process. Think of it as the endpoint of countless preceding steps, from the moment you register to the clinical care you receive to all the complex coding and claim submission. All of that converges into this one crucial document designed to clearly spell out your financial obligation. It's really where the provider services and your insurance benefits meet your wallet.
So it's definitely not just a one-off notification. It's really a crucial piece of a much larger interconnected financial ecosystem in healthcare. It's the moment where all the complex insurance dealings, the services you got, and the payment calculations come together and are formally communicated to you. But this begs a deeper question. Why is it so crucial? I mean, in an age where digital communication is instant, why can't they just tell you definitively at the front desk what you owe? What's the multifaceted purpose of these statements beyond simply asking for money? What other functions do they serve?
That's an excellent and insightful question, because while the most obvious purpose is indeed to request payment, these statements serve several vital, almost foundational functions that make them pretty much indispensable in modern healthcare billing. First, and perhaps most fundamentally, they serve as a clear and unambiguous notification to you, the patient, of any outstanding balance. This isn't just a casual reminder. It's an official, sometimes legally required alert. It formally makes you aware that a financial responsibility exists following your care. Unlike, say, a verbal estimate at the front desk, which can be fluid, this is a formal record, a documented communication outlining specific charges, payments, and your remaining responsibility. It establishes that paper trail, or the digital equivalent, that both you and the provider can reference. Secondly, and this is where it really goes beyond a mere bill and becomes, as you said, an informational bridge, it offers a detailed breakdown of services rendered and insurance activity. It's designed to be a transparent ledger. It shows you precisely what medical services you received, on what dates, who provided the care, the original charges, and crucially, how your insurance company processed that claim. You'll see exactly how much your insurance paid, any adjustments they applied, like, contractual discounts, and then your calculated remaining responsibility. This level of detail is absolutely paramount for clarity. It helps you reconcile it with your own explanation of benefits, the EOB, which you get directly from your insurer. It helps you verify that what you're being billed for matches what you received and what your insurance covered. Imagine trying to verify a complex purchase without an itemized receipt. This statement is basically that for your healthcare. Thirdly, it's a direct, actionable payment request with clear instructions. It doesn't just state an amount, it provides explicit directions on how and where to pay that balance, whether it's through an online portal, by mail using a remit slip, or over the phone. Without these clear instructions, collecting payment would be much harder and less efficient, leading to confusion and delays. It removes friction from the payment process. And finally, these statements formally initiate or continue the collections process. For balances that aren't paid right away, subsequent statements, often sent at regular intervals like 30, 60, 90 days, act as structured reminders. They formally continue the process of trying to recover those outstanding funds. This is crucial for the financial health of the healthcare provider, letting them continue to offer care. Actually, did you know that studies have shown a significant percentage of patients delay payment or dispute bills simply because they don't understand them? So these statements, when they're clear, are a critical tool in reducing that confusion and getting payments in faster. Which, raises that important question. How often do we overlook the statement's role as this informational bridge designed for clarity in a confusing transaction and just focus on it as a demand for money?
That's a really powerful way to frame it, an informational bridge. So for you, the patient, it's much more than just a request for money. It's essentially a detailed report card of your medical visit, itemizing the care, what insurance did, and exactly what your piece of the financial responsibility is. It's your window into the often, let's face it, opaque world of medical billing. It really highlights how a clear, well-constructed statement can prevent so much unnecessary anxiety and, frankly, those frustrating phone calls. Okay, so we've covered what patient statements are and the crucial, multifaceted reasons why they're sent out. Now let's talk about the when. It's certainly not just random, is it? You don't just get a bill the day after your appointment, or maybe sometimes you do. What are the specific timing triggers that dictate precisely when a patient statement finally gets released? To ensure accuracy and avoid confusion.
You're absolutely right. The timing is anything but random. It's highly structured, almost like an assembly line, and sequential. It's a key part of the broader billing cycle. Patient statements are only released after a series of critical prerequisites have been meticulously met. This is all about ensuring maximum accuracy and preventing premature or wrong billing, which, as we'll discuss, is a huge source of patient frustration. The first and arguably most important trigger is that your insurance must have fully adjudicated the claim. This is a really key concept. Adjudication basically means your insurance company has finished its thorough review of the services submitted by your provider. They've made their final decision on what they'll cover, what they won't, and what your financial responsibility, like your copay, coinsurance, or deductible, is for those services. No statement should go out to you before the insurer has made that final decision and formally communicated it back to the provider. This usually happens via an electronic remittance advice, an ERA, which is digital, or sometimes a paper explanation of benefits, EOB, which you also get a copy of. This step ensures the provider isn't billing you too early for something insurance might still cover or for an amount that hasn't been precisely said by your health plan. Think of it like a meticulous accountant needing to balance the books and get final confirmation before sending the final invoice. It's that critical. Following that, all payments and adjustments must be accurately posted to your account within the provider's billing system. This involves carefully recording every single insurance payment, whether it came in digitally via ERA or as a check with a paper EOB. And beyond payments, it also means applying any necessary write-offs or contractual adjustments. For instance, if your provider is in-network, they probably agreed with your insurance on a discounted rate. That discount, that adjustment, needs to be correctly applied to your account before your balance is calculated. This step is all about financial hygiene, making sure every penny from the insurer is accounted for, every discount is reflected, and your account truly shows the exact situation with your insurance. If this isn't done right, it can lead to overbilling you, the patient. That's a common complaint. And Finally, the provider system must have precisely calculated the final patient responsibility. This is the culmination of all the previous steps. It's where the billing software, fed with all the insurance payment and adjustment data, methodically determines your exact remaining balance. This includes calculating your copay, your coinsurance, any leftover deductible you owe for the year, and charges for any services insurance didn't cover. This precision is absolutely vital for accuracy. It prevents frustrating calls, disputes, and potential distrust later on. This whole sequential nature of revenue cycle management is just paramount. One step must fully complete and be verified before the next can begin. A common and really frustrating challenge, which we'll definitely talk more about, is a timing mismatch. That's where statements accidentally get sent before insurance finalizes. It causes errors, looks like double billing, and seriously damages patient confidence. It all comes back to this fundamental principle: sequence and verification.
That truly makes so much sense. It really highlights how much has to happen behind the scenes. I mean, it sounds like a mountain of financial and administrative processing before you, the patient, even lay eyes on a bill. It's clearly not a random moment. It's a carefully timed event based on a lot of complex data reconciliation. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because now we get to the actual how, the intricate, multi-layered steps involved in releasing these statements. It definitely sounds like a lot more than just hitting print on a computer. Walk us through the specific granular process that healthcare providers follow to get that bill from their system to your hand.
It absolutely is. The process is meticulously structured. It's designed to ensure accuracy, compliance, and ideally, clarity for the patient. There are really 5 key distinct steps that medical providers typically follow. Each one has its own specific tasks and potential complexities. The first crucial step is finalizing insurance posting. Like we just discussed, this is the bedrock. It involves ensuring every single insurance payment, whether it's electronic via ERA or paper via EOB, is accurately and promptly posted to the correct patient's account in the billing system. And this isn't just typing in a number. It means matching payments to specific service lines, making sure the right amount is applied. Beyond payments, it also means meticulously applying all those necessary write-offs or adjustments, often contractual discounts. Like if your provider is in-network, they've agreed to a lower rate for a service. The difference between their full charge and that agreed rate gets written off. This step is all about complete financial reconciliation, making sure every penny from the insurer is accounted for, applied correctly, and any agreed upon discounts are reflected. It's the point where the financial picture from the insurer's view gets fully integrated into the provider's records, creating a true final picture of what, if anything, is still owed by the patient. If this step is rushed or done wrong, errors just cascade through the whole process. Once that financial reconciliation is solid, we move to generate statements. Now, this process is largely automated these days, thanks to sophisticated practice management, PM systems, or dedicated billing software. These systems automatically generate statements based on those finalized patient-specific balances. What's really crucial here is the sheer volume of key information that gets pulled together and distilled into that single document. The goal is always clarity for you. This includes your basic patient details: name, patient ID, current address. Then the specific service details: date of service, the procedure code for the treatment, the provider's name. The statement lists the original charges, what the provider initially billed. Crucially, it then transparently shows the insurance payments exactly what the insurer paid and any adjustments, like those write-offs. All of this leads meticulously to the most important number for you: the patient responsibility, the exact remaining balance you owe. And finally, because a bill isn't helpful if you don't know how to pay it, it provides essential payment instructions. How and where to pay, maybe an online portal, a mailing address, a phone number. Plus, there should always be easily accessible customer service info, like a dedicated phone line or email, for any billing questions or disputes you might have. This is really where the magic of consolidation happens. All that complex data from your visit and your insurance's response gets boiled down into one comprehensive, hopefully understandable document. For you, this is a critical reference point. A single source of truth, ideally.
Wow, that is a lot of information to condense into one document. And like you said, accuracy is just paramount. So after these statements are generated, is that it? Do they go straight to the mailroom or the digital outbox? Or is there a human quality control step before they're actually sent out?
Excellent question. And the answer is definitively no. It doesn't just go straight out. The third step is incredibly important: review and approve statements. Despite all the automation, this human oversight step remains absolutely crucial. Now, billing teams don't usually review every single statement, especially in large practices sending thousands weekly. Instead, they'll audit a carefully selected sample. They often focus on high-dollar accounts, accounts with maybe unusual charges, or those with a history of disputes. What are they looking for? Well, absolute accuracy of the charges and balances, proper formatting for readability and compliance, making sure there are no duplicate or missing items that could cause confusion or overbilling, and critically, checking there's no sensitive language, privacy breaches, or errors that might violate HIPAA or cause unnecessary patient distress. For instance, catching a statement going to the wrong patient or one with an incorrect diagnosis code that's a big privacy issue. In many larger places, formal approvals might even be needed from a supervisor before a whole batch gets released. This step is basically a vital quality control checkpoint, a safety net. It's designed to catch potential issues that could lead to patient confusion, frustration, or disputes, things like a confusing layout, an incorrect amount, or even the dreaded wrong address that means it never gets delivered. It's that final human check before mass distribution. Okay, so once reviewed and approved, the fourth step is to select the delivery method. Healthcare providers are constantly adapting to modern communication preferences and tech, so there are usually several options available now. The most traditional method is still mail printing a physical paper statement and sending it via postal service. This is still essential for patients maybe without reliable internet or who just prefer paper records. Then there's email, which is increasingly common, but only if the patient has given explicit documented consent. This often includes a PDF version or a secure link. Many providers also use a secure patient portal. Patients log in with their own credentials to view statements, payment history, and often pay right there online. This is probably the most secure and convenient for many people, and sometimes you might get an SMS with a link. That's a text reminder with a secure, personalized link to a payment platform. This is gaining popularity for its immediacy, especially for smaller balances. This variety shows the shift towards digital convenience and patient choice, but it also highlights the ongoing challenge of having accurate contact info for each method and, crucially, getting proper patient consent for electronic delivery, which has its own set of rules. Finally, the fifth step is the actual release of statements. Once all the checks are done and the delivery method is set, the billing system sends the statements out. This usually happens in big batches, maybe weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Or in some more agile systems, it might be on a rolling basis as individual patient balances get finalized. This keeps a steady flow going. Now, at this exact point, the billing system isn't just sending a document, it's doing other critical admin tasks too. It meticulously logs the exact release date for each statement, vital for tracking, compliance, and timing follow-ups. It simultaneously kicks off what's known as a dunning cycle. That's a preset, automated sequence of reminders or later statements, often at 30, 60, 90-day intervals, designed to prompt payment if the first one isn't paid. And beyond that, the system also triggers other potential follow-up actions. This could range from automated calls or emails to, eventually, more serious collection steps for persistently unpaid balances, assuming the patient hasn't contacted them or set up a payment plan. So this step isn't just about sending a bill, it's about initiating and managing that whole financial relationship with the patient after the service. It activates a whole sequence of potential follow-ups to make sure the payment cycle gets completed, hopefully efficiently and respectfully.
Wow, that's a truly comprehensive process. It's clear that so many hidden infrastructure, meticulous data handling, and real attention to detail go into that seemingly simple piece of paper or digital notification you receive. It's genuinely a complex dance with many carefully choreographed steps and automated triggers. So now that we know all the intricate steps involved in preparing and dispatching these statements, how do practices make sure these statements actually work as intended? What are the best practices that separate a well-run, patient-centric billing department from one that's constantly chasing payments or fielding angry calls? What makes for a good, effective patient statement from both the providers and your perspective?
You've hit on a crucial point there. It's one thing to just go through the motions of billing, but it's quite another to do it effectively. You want efficient collections for the provider, sure, but also absolute clarity and a positive experience for you, the patient. There are several widely recognized best practices that leading healthcare organizations really strive to implement, and each one directly benefits the patient experience while also improving the overall revenue cycle. First, and this is probably the most impactful for you, is to use clear, non-technical language. Medical billing is just infamous for its jargon, obscure codes, bewildering acronyms. A best practice statement actively avoids this. It explains charges, services, insurance actions in plain, understandable English. This greatly reduces patient confusion and, as a direct result, significantly speeds up payment because you actually understand what you're being asked to pay for. For you, this means less trying to decipher medical hieroglyphics like CPT 99213 with modifier 25 and more clarity like seeing office visit established patient moderate complexity. Studies have shown confusing bills can delay payments by up to 45 days. It's significant. Secondly, a good statement will always highlight the due amount and due date prominently and unambiguously. This might seem incredibly obvious, but making this critical info immediately noticeable just eliminates any guessing games. You know exactly what's owed and precisely when it needs to be paid. This clarity directly impacts timely payments and reduces the need for patients to call just for basic information. It's about reducing friction at that key financial touchpoint. Third, providers absolutely should offer multiple payment options. In today's world, convenience is king, right? Expectations are high. By providing various easy ways to pay accessible online portals, direct phone numbers for credit cards, mail-in addresses, maybe even integration with payment apps providers, significantly improve the likelihood of prompt payment. This is about meeting you where you are, making it as easy as possible to pay how you prefer, whether you're tech-savvy or like traditional methods. This flexibility can be the difference between a paid bill and one that gets delayed or goes uncollected. Fourth, it's vital to include clear contact information for disputes or questions. Look, no matter how clear a bill is, questions or perceived errors can and often do come up. Providing a clear, dedicated phone number, email address, or even simple instruction on how to submit a dispute right on the statement itself fosters trust. It encourages immediate resolution rather than letting frustration build and payment get delayed. If something looks off, you know exactly who to call. That creates a clear path for resolution and stops confusion from turning into anger or a collection issue. Fifth, effectively sending reminders is a key best practice. This goes back to that Dunning cycle we mentioned. Gentle, timely nudges, subsequent statements, or automated messages are incredibly helpful and often necessary. They prevent bills from just falling through the cracks, which is honestly a common reason for non-payment, not always an unwillingness to pay. It's a proactive, systematic approach that ensures accounts don't just vanish. And finally, a crucial best practice is to monitor delivery success. This means tracking things like bounced emails, physical mail marked return to sender, or failed text notifications. Knowing right away if a statement didn't reach the intended recipient is absolutely crucial. It prevents missed collections and lets the billing team proactively fix contact info. It directly tackles that wrong address or contact info challenge, making sure the statement actually gets to you, the intended recipient, preventing unnecessary delays and admin costs.
That makes perfect sense. These best practices really aren't just about making the provider's life easier or boosting their bottom line. They truly enhance the patient experience. They foster a sense of clarity, trust, and even empathy in what can otherwise be a very stressful situation. But knowing all those ideal steps and scenarios, it's clear there could be some major stumbling blocks. What are those common challenges that frequently crop up, making this complex process even trickier for both the provider and, crucially for us, the patients?
You're absolutely right. Despite the best intentions and meticulous processes, several common challenges frequently arise, and they create significant headaches for both billing departments and patients. And these aren't just minor annoyances. They have real impacts on both the provider's finances and your peace of mind as a patient. One of the most fundamental, yet shockingly persistent challenges is simply having the wrong address or contact info for the patient. It sounds basic, but it happens all the time. If the statement goes to an old address, an incorrect email, an old phone number, it just never reaches you. The impact is straightforward and, honestly, devastating to the process. The entire communication effort is undermined. It leads to missed payments, frustrated patients wondering why they never got a bill, and wasted resources for the provider sending statements into the void. Imagine moving, forgetting to update your address with one doctor, and months later finding out a bill went to collections from your old place, maybe with late fees you knew nothing about. It's surprisingly common and just breaks that informational bridge. Another major hurdle is a confusing layout on the statement itself. We just talked about clear language being a best practice, right? But if the design is cluttered, the information is poorly organized, or the key figures like amount due aren't immediately obvious, patients can get overwhelmed and just, discouraged. The impact. The patient either ignores the bill because it seems too hard to figure out, or they dispute it out of sheer confusion, even if the charges underneath are totally correct. If you can't understand it within a minute or two of looking at it, you're much less likely to pay it promptly or even engage with it. It leads to a breakdown in that whole financial interaction. It's like getting a complex legal doc with no clear headings or summary. Then there's the notorious timing mismatch, specifically sending a statement before insurance has finalized its processing. This is a critical error. It happens more often than you'd think, maybe due to system lags or just human oversight. The impact is severe and immediately frustrating for the patient. It causes what looks like double billing. You might get a statement for the full amount before insurance has paid its share, or it creates other errors where the balance is just plain wrong. This is incredibly frustrating for you as the patient. It leads to needless phone calls to both the provider's billing office and your insurance company, and it really erodes trust. You feel like you're being asked to pay twice, or for the wrong amount, before your insurer has even had their say. It creates a huge amount of administrative work to fix, too. And finally, a surprisingly common yet easily fixable challenge is having no clear payment options listed, or if they are, they're not convenient or easy to find. If a patient gets a statement but isn't immediately shown obvious, easy ways to pay, the impact is a direct drop in collection success. If you don't know how to pay, or if finding the payment methods is a hassle like clicking through multiple confusing website menus, the chance of getting prompt payment drops significantly. People value convenience, and friction in the payment process often leads to delayed or forgotten bills. If we connect this to the bigger picture, these challenges aren't just administrative headaches for the provider. They directly impact their financial health because money isn't collected efficiently. But more importantly for you, they directly affect your peace of mind as a patient. They lead to unnecessary stress, confusion, and a breakdown in trust with your healthcare provider. A poorly managed billing process can really overshadow even excellent clinical care.
It's definitely clear that the journey of a medical bill doesn't just end when it leaves the billing office. So the statement's gone out, the hard work is done, right? You just sit back and wait for the money to roll in. Or is there a whole new phase of engagement that begins for the provider once that statement is actually out in the world?
Oh, far from it. Releasing the statement is just one critical stage in an ongoing, really dynamic cycle. What happens next is absolutely crucial, both for the practice's financial health and for you as the patient. It determines how efficiently balances get collected and how those patient financial relationships are managed over time. Delivering the statement is really just hitting the start button for the next phase. After a statement is released, the first ongoing task is the relentless tracking of patient responses and payments. This means constantly monitoring incoming payments, whether they come in online, through the mail, over the phone. At the same time, billing departments are actively tracking and responding to patient queries or calls about their statements. It's a continuous feedback loop. They learn what's working or not working with the statements and address any immediate concerns, maybe a dispute, a request for clarification, or just letting them know a payment is on the way. This proactive tracking helps spot potential issues early. As we touched on earlier, a key and systematic part of this post-release process is sending reminders. This is that formal dunning cycle in full effect. If the first statement isn't paid within a set time frame, often 30 days, a second reminder statement is automatically generated and sent. If that's still unpaid, a third might follow at 60 days, and maybe a final one at 90 days. These structured reminders are essential for encouraging payment without immediately escalating to harsher measures. While dunning cycle sounds kind of aggressive, its main purpose is often just providing courtesy reminders and a structured approach, giving patients plenty of chances to pay before more serious actions are considered. Now, for patients with high or maybe unexpected balances, a crucial aspect of both good customer service and successful collections is offering payment plans. Let's face it, not everyone can pay a large medical bill in one go. By proactively offering options for patients with significant debt to pay over time, maybe a simple 3-month interest-free plan, or a longer arrangement for hardship cases, providers dramatically increase the chance of recovering the funds. It also shows flexibility and empathy. This helps patients manage their financial burden, reducing stress and making them more willing to pay, rather than just letting the debt go to collections. It's really a win-win. The patient gets a manageable path and the provider gets paid. However, if an account stays unpaid beyond a defined policy threshold, say after 90 or 120 days with no payment or contact, the account may then be escalated to collections. This could mean turning it over to an internal collections team or, more commonly, outsourcing it to a third-party collection agency. This is usually a last resort, obviously, as it can damage the patient relationship and cost the provider extra money, but it's a necessary step for financial viability if all other attempts to collect have failed. It really highlights the serious implications of ignoring these statements. And finally, every single step in this entire cycle, especially after the statement goes out, requires diligent reconciling payments in the PM system. Every single payment received, whether from insurance or directly from the patient, must be accurately recorded and applied to the correct patient accounts and the right service lines. This ensures the patient's balance is always up to date, preventing future errors, miscommunications, and, accidentally double billing on later statements. This ongoing commitment to reconciliation ensures data integrity, the backbone of financial accuracy. This whole process really demonstrates the continuous loop required in revenue cycle management. It's constant communication, tracking, action, all designed to ensure financial viability for providers, while also trying to make payment easier for you, the patient.
So what does this all mean for you? We've taken a true deep dive into patient statements, haven't we? Dissecting them from their core purpose to the meticulous multi-stage process involved in their creation and delivery. We've explored the best practices that can transform them from mere demands into effective, clear communications, and we've definitely confronted the common challenges that can make them incredibly frustrating. It's truly a complex dance, a delicate balance of data, communication, and human interaction.
Exactly. Releasing patient statements is far more than just printing a bill. It's a critical and highly sensitive step in medical billing. It ensures patients are properly informed of what they owe. It facilitates timely and accurate payments through clarity and convenience. And ultimately, it supports the overall financial health of the practice or hospital. That allows them to continue providing essential care to the community. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's abundantly clear that while it might look like just a straightforward request for money, that patient statement is really a profound testament to the intricate, often invisible processes required to keep our complex healthcare system functioning and, well, financially stable.
So the next time you receive a patient statement, whether it's that crisp piece of paper in your mailbox or a digital notification ping in your inbox, maybe take just a moment. Consider all the intricate steps, the painstaking insurance finalization, the automated yet precise generation, the crucial human review, the varied delivery methods designed for convenience, and the ongoing systematic follow-up that went into that one document reaching your hand. It's truly more than just a bill. It's a meticulously orchestrated communication, a vital legal document, and a critical financial transaction all rolled into one. What does that immense hidden complexity, often taken for granted, reveal about the intricate systems that underpin so many of our everyday interactions, even the most seemingly mundane ones?